Hello. So good news is obviously this stream's gone on early. I'm streaming a bit earlier than I planned to, and the comments have come up straight away rather than it being delayed, so that's good. It's sent the notifications out. So we're going to do an interesting thing tonight. I'm going to do a stream till about 8 PM UK time. Then I'm going to do a joint stream with Weapon Collector. And that will be on his channel, so I'll make sure I put a link in at the end of it so everybody knows where that will be. And that will be one where it will be both of us, and then when each one of us talks it will cut to their webcam. We did a test thing just now and it worked, so yeah, that should be good. If Mike doesn't come on in a couple of minutes, I'll check he knows that I'm on. It's not a replica, it's a real one, but it's deactivated, but it's an L1A1 SLR, so it's the British version of a FAL. I'm just going to try and position my chair in a spot where I'll be clearly in frame, because quite often if I start slouching in the chair then I go out of frame. Yeah, well, it depends, because the thing is, bear in mind, when I film videos, often I film them about a month in advance, 3 weeks to a month in advance. So if I've just shaved my head, let's say I shaved my hair tonight, after I did the stream, and then I filmed some videos in the next few days, it'd be like 3 or 4 weeks time before you suddenly see my hair goes off on those. So it's the live streams is how my hair looks at the moment, but obviously on videos that's when they've been scheduled. Yeah, well, it's good because it keeps people talking, at least being there, doesn't it? But yeah, it'd be interesting if they talked about some of the other things on the wall, but I think it was 395 when I got it. I can't remember actually, but this was going back a few years ago, before the gun laws changed again. I think coffee can filters are still made by a couple of companies. I know Maskpol in Poland does like the EO14 style ones for industrial use, but not many places make them. I think China makes coffee can style filters as well still, but you know. What, the big bow you can see there, that one is 28 draw weight, I think, the big recurve. The smaller bow next to it is, I think, 10 or 15 draw weight. The compound there is about 20 draw weight. I can't remember with all of them. The flat bow that's there, that's something like 20 draw weight. Alright, Mike, I've told everybody that we'll be doing the joint stream when this one finishes at about 8 PM. No, not at the moment, mate, because with the laws, how they've changed, it's a bit weird how they're written at the moment. And the price of them has gone up, so it means you've got something that can do less and it costs a lot more. So unless I spotted like you know, something deactivated I really liked and it was cheap, I wouldn't really bother anymore. I don't see why you wouldn't like the GP5. It's the GP7. I don't get why you'd like. I mean, it looks cool, but it's not a very practical mask. Favourite camouflage is probably Flecton, but you know, that can vary. Sizing on the FM12 is in 3 sizes. Size 1 is large, size 2 is medium, size 3 is small. So most people get a size 2 medium. Well, I've done videos recommending lots of different masks. It depends what you can get at a sensible price, because there are some masks where if I recommend them, people in certain countries can't buy them at sensible prices, but like S10s and FM12s and those sort of things I like. I like a lot of the Soviet masks as well, assuming you're not using them with the old filters. Out of the ones I don't have, a Canadian C4. Now, the reason people call it the FAL is the rifle is the FAL. That's the actual, you know, name of the series of rifles. It's like somebody calling an AK-M or whatever an AK-47. It's technically correct, but there are individual models of it. No sugars, and it's coffee, but it's pretty weak looking coffee, isn't it? I probably didn't put enough instant coffee powder in it. Hang on, if that's in frame. Is it in frame? Yeah. So it looks more like a cup of tea, but that is actually coffee. But yeah, not really strong enough, but oh well. But I don't, although I have milk in coffee and tea, I don't have sugar in it. Favourite rifle is that one there. That gets asked every time as well. I just like the big old battle rifles. If I could see one at a decent price, I'd love to get the Sturmgewehr 57. You know, like the really ugly battle rifle. But I'm sure they cost loads of money. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like all the AK designations. It's like if you had an AKM and, you know, one country called it the Wasser, like I think the Romanian AKs are, is it Bulgarian AKs are called like Wassers, and the East German ones were MPI, you know, rifles. It's like all of that. It's a lot of people just say it's an AK, even if it's a technical derivative of an AK. But yeah, you're right to say it's a FAL, but it's an L1A1 SLR is the actual, you know, self-loading rifle is the British name for it, but it's an FN FAL. Yeah, but you can ungunk the Cosmoline, can't you? That's the preservative. In the UK time, it's 7:22, so 1922. Cool. Yeah, oh, I imagine an AK still would go strong because they're well-built rifles. Although I don't like any of the new ones, I'd say Battlefield, because I really like Bad Company 2, Battlefield 2142, and those, but there was a couple of Call of Duty games I quite liked as well. When you say fast helmets, what do you mean by those? Do you mean like modern military ones? But I think when I've tried it, all of them seem to work alright with the FM12. I'll tell you which crossbows I did do a chronograph on, but like I said, I didn't get very good results with the chrono, because quite often you'd need to it in perfect lighting and everything for it to work, so I kind of gave up trying to chrono a lot of stuff. I swear I did a chrono thing on a full-size crossbow. Let me just have a quick look at a video. What's that video called then? Because I did do one. Yeah, there's one that says £105 recurve crossbow chronograph tests. Yeah, I did the £40 one, and I did the £105 one, but I don't think I did the 120 or 150. No, I don't think I know the beta Combine Elite one. Was it a cheek filter mask or something like that? Yeah, I've got the Vietnam DLC. At the moment now, I've been quite liking, have you seen the Toy Soldiers thing they've put in Rising Storm 2? That's quite fun. That's a really good price for an M16 with a grenade launcher on, because Oh, right, I see. So you fitted an airsoft grenade launcher. But yeah, for M16A2 for like 200 quid, that's really good, because whenever I've seen them, they've been close to £1,000 for M16s. FM12 has a drinking tube on. CT12 removed that to make it lighter weight. I've not really seen any of proper modern Russian masks to handle. Like the PMK3 might be good. GP9 kind of looks good, but I don't have one. Let's see it. Oh, somebody started with the political questions that it says down there, don't ask. No, I've never replaced the C3. I think I can fix the straps on it, but I've not spent the time and energy to actually try and do it yet. Because, you know, like I said, I wouldn't really use the C3 for anything, because it's an older style mask, so, and it's 60mm. So, you know, like I said, I've not really spent the energy trying to fix it. Oh, I definitely would, Alex, because obviously I talk about them a lot on here, but it depends. You don't need to get very many, though. You could just get one good mask and a couple of spare filters and you'd be sorted. You mean the M2000? The M2000, that's the current German one. I don't have one, so I can't give an opinion on it. It looks cool, but, you know, some masks look cool and then they're a bit crap, so... I don't have a Zodiac suit, but I've heard they're very heavy. I heard they're good suits, but, you know, they're heavy and not very comfortable. But obviously I can't really give an opinion on something I don't have. Well, any modern NBC suit would work fine with an FM12, because it's a modern mask. Yeah, I've got loads of knives. I'd advise you look at my YouTube videos on my knife collection for those. Yeah, I know the one you mean, the one that's camouflaged, but I've not seen any that are probably still going to work that haven't been stupidly expensive. I doubt airsoft armour would do much, because it doesn't have proper bits in it. It's like cheap, lightweight plastic. Until my medication runs out, for your question, Crossfire. I don't know, because I never really planned it that far ahead, in the sense that I just did it because I enjoyed it. I think people who get into YouTube wanting to hit certain milestones or wanting to make loads of money on it will always be disappointed, because you've got to kind of do it because you enjoy it and then see what happens. Yeah, but then if it's carrying real plates, you're not using it as an airsoft plate carrier. I think he's asking about, you know, ones with like the plastic in, because at that point it's become a real plate carrier. Yeah, I'm not going to exactly go into all of that in a stream, mate. That's pretty personal. Well, you're not going to get anything really light that's not a plate carrier. I mean, a plate carrier isn't light. I mean, you can get like level 2 or level 3A Kevlar vests, but if a CS grenade or rubber bullet hit that, it could still break your ribs and give you horrible bruising, because you need an actual trauma plate to stop the kind of impact. Probably not unless you're a company, because, you know, big companies supply to other companies. They wouldn't supply to somebody who says, I randomly want to buy a mask. No, I do not collect Steam gift cards. Sounds a very odd question. New games. I'm trying to think. Mountain Blade Bannerlord, when that eventually comes out, but no clue when they're going to release that. Might be years away. No, I can't ride a horse, weirdly enough. Most modern people don't ride horses. Arma 2 was my favourite of all the Arma games, but I don't play it very regularly now. There's FM12s on eBay at the moment for about 30 quid, because they're always on there every time I look. If you say so, I kinda doubt that. It's all that cinematic modern crap that I'm not into. Already said. Don't have a problem with Scots, or the Irish, or the Welsh. Don't know if I've got slow mode on. Have I got slow mode on? Oh, I've got on the wrong chat mode as well. Give me a second. Right, I've got on the other chat mode now, so I should hopefully see more comments if I didn't reply to any. I tried playing one of those Half-Life 2 beta kind of things, where it was a load of just kind of disconnected maps that didn't really work properly. It was interesting seeing the maps, but obviously it wasn't a good playable experience, because it wasn't a finished game. Gmod, yeah, Gmod's fun. No, because as I said, I don't do it anymore. No, all the ones I've been interested in I've bought with swords, so unless something weird comes along, I'm not getting any more for a while. Canadian C4, as I've already said, because weirdly enough, when people say what mask would you like the most, and I say that, if you hadn't asked me what mask would I like for free, it would be the same mask. I've just had one comment from you, Chris, so I don't know if you made a previous one, but there's not a previous one on my chat window. Not very hard at all unless the filter's clogged. I do 2 jobs, as I've already said. Right, Bosley? It's generally not the mask that restricts breathing, no, it's the filter. I still think I'm missing a comment from you, Chris, because it doesn't make sense what you're saying at the moment. Yeah, I've got a Dacia Sandero, so magical car that is, but it's cheap and it works fine, so I actually quite like it. I've got quite a lot of CBRN suits. If you searched on my channel, you'd notice that. I've got quite a few NBC suits, yeah. About 90 odd. No, weirdly I'm not Pluto. But you know what. No, I don't have any nunchucks. I don't know if they're even legal in the UK. I think they are legal, but I know I don't have any. Yeah, 90 plus gas masks. Some of them are duplicates, like I have two S10s. I have two GP5s, two GP5Ms. So, yeah, if you took the duplicates away, it would be about 80, but... You already asked that question. I already said look at the FAQ. Right, to everybody joining, I'm just waiting for some good questions again now. For those of you who didn't hear at the start of the stream, when this stream ends, I'm going to be doing a one with Weapon Collector. Now, I keep one in my car at all times. I've obviously got loads in the house, but I don't have one generally around on me in case I, you know, because I don't find most of the time walking about. I think I'd need one on me. Yeah, it's because they had the, like, short steel prods, didn't they? A lot of them rich, which isn't actually very energy efficient at all for, shooting a projectile. Doesn't actually matter at all, get whichever one you like the look of more, because they're both exactly the same mask. If I had to keep one, I'd keep the XM28, just because it's the most valuable as far as I'm aware from all the ones I have. So I'm not allowed a polearm though. I can just have a musket or just a sword. Probably a sword if it's a big sword, like a Zweihander, you know, like a great sword, because you can at least kneel behind the sword. Sometimes messages don't, it's just YouTube removing them. Nothing I can do about that, or not showing them to me. Now, if you want to use a gas mask just for things like chemical leaks, industrial spills, tear gas, you know, there could be a threat of an actual gas attack, but it's unlikely. But just in general, like, you know, DIY kind of stuff, lots of uses for one. I don't have a problem with the Moss and the Gamp, I've never shot one, so... I don't think you really need a lens cover for an FM12. They're polycarbonate lenses, so they're pretty tough. As said, most valuable one I have is the XM28. I literally just said that about a minute ago. Well, when I can get the accessories for them, like, you know, the radio equipment for the S10 and, like, the balaclava for them, I do, but if they're, like, expensive and, you know, loads more, then I don't bother. My PC, because like I said, I'm going to upgrade it at some point. When I say upgrade, I mean I'm getting a brand new one. It's an FX 9590 processor, so that's good if you're doing video rendering, but it's sort of one of AMD's old massive core ones without very good single threading. GPU is an RX 480, so that's a bit outdated, but I still find that can do everything really. 16 gig of DDR3 RAM, can't remember what the clock speed of that is. Yeah, I've done that quite a few times, testing a mask. I've done videos on it. Just look at, type in XM28 on my channel and you can find it. And it's pretty bad if you weren't allowed to use a respirator in your job, especially if it's something poisonous. I don't quite get your question now. Why don't I do more videos about my most popular videos? What? Digital Flora is alright, but I prefer SS Lito. No, that's not too bad, Bullfrog, actually. Does any bits of that still move? I haven't even watched YouTube Rewind. Yeah, you can probably get an FM12 Tumbo that's within a couple of years old for like 30 to 40 quid on eBay. They tend to go for that quite often. And then that's just like a better S10 really. So. Mouse is a cheap one. It's a TechNet, but that's alright. Keyboard's an IBM Model M. If you don't know what an IBM Model M is, look it up. Yeah, FM12s tend to be quite cheap now just because it's like the mask Avon's been selling to absolutely everybody. Like, you know, most nations won't pay for like an M50 or stuff like that, so they just sell the FM12. It seems cheap to almost anybody. So yeah, lots turning up on the surplus market just because quite a few European countries use it. The police in Britain use it. I think a lot of American police forces use it now. And there's quite a lot of, you know, sort of, I think, like African and Middle Eastern countries and Asian countries that use the FM12 as well. I've done videos on the BEM 4GP. It's not a bad mask, but as long as you get one that's actually in good enough condition. I doubt your keyboard, though, can type as well as an IBM Model M can. If you try and type fast on it, the keys will stick. Favourite American masks? Probably the M40. I actually like the look of the XM40 more, but don't have an XM40. There's not anything really interesting about the MC1. It's the same mask as the Czech CM3, and the Czech CM3 is a better quality version of the same mask, really. But, yeah, but saying about Waco documentaries, I've seen, like, in those, sometimes they have Israeli masks on in the documentaries, sometimes MSA masks, sometimes, yeah, like S6 masks. I think it just totally depends on who's making a documentary and what they can get. I don't know what the Branch Davidians actually had, in terms of, like, the real masks they had. You can work that out if you look at my username. Nope. Out by a year. Oh, XM40 was a prototype, but it just uses the M17's voice and sort of XL valve assembly. Yeah, you're right, Mophead. As far as I'm aware, Lithuania just kind of built copies of other masks, like, you know, GP5 style masks and whatever else. Are you saying, when you say watch, do you mean what watch am I wearing at the moment? That's a Seiko Kinetic Bullfrog. The only problem with this watch, as good as it is, it doesn't have lume on it, which means if you're in the dark you can't actually read it, which does annoy me. No, I keep them wherever I can have space from Calvin. So that means some in here, some in other rooms. Every like cupboard and wardrobe and shelving rack has them on. Yeah, there's a couple of IBM ones similar to Model M, but I've got an old Model M from either the 80s or the 90s that I found in the attic because it used to be plugged into the Windows 3.1 we had, and luckily it didn't get thrown away when it could have very easily got thrown away. And you know, I realised upon plugging in how much of a better keyboard it is than modern keyboards. Alright, that car question was already asked while you were in the stream, and I already said a Dacia Sandero. Oldest gas mask would be one of my World War II masks, so that's probably somewhere in the 1930s. I don't think I've got any from the 1920s. Yeah, there are Norwegian gas masks, but I think they're all copies of other countries' masks. Like there's the Norwegian, I think it's Norwegian rather, I can't remember if it's Norway or Sweden that has the M51, which is an M9 copy. I've got a Model M, so I've not used the Model F, so I can't say, but if they're similar, they're both good. It just means like civilian mask as far as I'm aware, the GP. Well, because most of the videos I do on air rifles are nowhere near as popular as that video. And YouTube gets very funny of those videos now. So there's no point me making them if they're going to not show them to people. That's originally actually a Draeger mask though. The Israeli ones were like licensed as far as I'm aware from Draeger masks. I think it's called the Draeger Simplex originally. When you say newest, do you mean newest in terms of production date or newest in terms of like the most recent one I bought? Ireland just bought Avon masks as far as I'm aware. I think Ireland uses the C50 at the moment, which is like the M50 but in 40mm. Oh yeah, because eBay, as I've said before, is just a site where people buy and sell things. You've got buyer protection if your item doesn't turn up. Favourite colour's probably orange. Right, so in about 10 minutes or so we'll be going over to Mike's 1. So just to warn you. I think 5. I've got an M1 carbine, the Lee Enfield, the SLR, that's 3, Kalashnikov and a PPSH, so that's 5. And that's like the actual deactivated guns, not ones that are, you know, like replicas. The airsoft ones aren't real masks, basically, they won't work. They're designed to protect you from BBs and not gas, that's the difference. It depends which kind of external lenses, but I assume you mean the red ones which are for laser designation as far as I'm aware. I already replied to you, Jonas, so I'm not replying again. For Sheeda F2 obviously, because it's a more modern mask, in 40mm. No, I don't drink energy drinks. I've had them a couple of times when I've really needed caffeine, but overall I don't like them, they're too sugary. Do you mean, have I ever shot a real gun? Then yes, as I said before. A 22 long rifle bolt action. Can't remember what model it was, because I said this was years ago, sadly, otherwise I'd have filmed the videos and put them on my YouTube channel. and what I think was probably a 20 bore break barrel. I'd have said tea years ago, but actually coffee now. PMK3? No, because they've always been really expensive when I've looked. Like, pretty much, as I've always said, any mask I would get if it was at a sensible price, but when they cost, you know, like, loads of money in postage, then no. Wow, do you mean an actual AK-47 or do you mean an AKM? Probably AR-15 over an AKM, but I'd rather have an AK-74 over an AR-15. You get airsoft guns from companies that sell airsoft guns. Just Google it. Good, good, good. Right, let's see if I can get some decent questions for the last 10 minutes. Other military, just look on my channel. I've got helmets, camouflage bits, loads and loads of stuff. Swords, bayonets. Yeah, I've played CSGO, but I preferred CSS out of all the Counter-Strike games. Yeah, thanks Mike, I was going to say, because we're going over to Mike's channel, that's Weapon Collector, you know, yeah, good thing he's mentioned where the link will be. Yeah, I've read Roadside Picnic, I've got the book somewhere, I don't know if it's on that bookshelf or that bookshelf, but I do have the book somewhere. No, because most of the good ones I've already mentioned. There are quite a few others I've seen, though, that aren't necessarily bad, but, you know, often they're just, like, hour-long kind of civil defence propaganda kind of ones. As long as you're not in a country where you're going to be, like, gunned down or arrested for bringing a gas mask in to show school kids or university students. Sure, why not? Let me just check if Roadside Picnic's actually... There you go, there's proof I've actually got it. Yep, that's up there, Lee Enfield. Do you mean a modern child wearing it or an old child wearing it? Because if it was an old child, it makes sense why they'd be wearing it. No, I don't have any check helmets. If you look at a video I called My Helmet Collection, or My Updated Helmet Collection, all my helmets are in that. But I don't have any check ones. If I could have any gun for a zombie apocalypse, it would probably be something like a Ruger 1022. Assuming it's actually, we're considering like the real logistics of the ammunition. Because then you could have fairly decent sized magazines. You could carry loads and loads of 22 long rifle on you. You know, and you've got a gun that's good enough for a zombie. Westworld is a much better film than Future World. Now, what I like doing personally is just having food in the cupboard that lasts ages, rather than messing about with MREs and everything. That typical. I managed to smack my head earlier actually saying that. Didn't have my bump cap with me and was in a low, you know, where you're in a room where the ceiling, well, you won't hit your head on the ceiling, but you know when you've got a door frame that's stupidly low, like a door frame that probably when you're standing up's like 5'6", so you have to like go like that to go through it. and then it was one where I put my head up before I was totally clear of the door frame, and then obviously the sharp edge of it got me right there. Gave me a headache for hours, that did. Lots of guns are legal in the UK. I don't have time to fully explain it now, as I'll be going off in a couple of minutes, but shotguns and rifles are, provided you jump through the right hoops. With rifles, most of them can't be semi-auto, they have to be, you know, like bolt action or like manual action, whatever you want to call it. It's already in the FAQ for your question. Right, I'll finish off any moment now then. No, GP5 with an FP5 filter, obviously, because that would work. Certainly wouldn't trust a GSR. Right, anyway, so we'll be heading over to Mike's channel in a moment, because that's a couple of minutes away. So make sure you go over to Weapon Collector, give him a subscribe if you've not given him a subscribe before. You'd like his videos if you like mine. He doesn't do as many on gas masks, but he's got lots of homemade knives and things like that. So yeah, go over to his channel and check it out, and then we'll be live on his channel in a couple of minutes.